All right, I'm here with my boy Jeremy Miller, author, speaker, good guy. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. We're living through a strange, surreal world, stuck in social distancing, and I think it's day 100. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, it feels like it. Are you getting a little bit of cabin fever?
I wish I was. The truth is, the last 10 days have probably been the busiest of my career, averaging just crazy hours working with business owners on navigating this thing. So, as much as I would say I'm getting cabin fever, I haven't had time to think about it.
Sure. Well, that's really what I wanted to talk about too. So maybe you could just expand. I mean, what are people, we're in complementing industries, your strategy consulting, and we're digital marketing and paid media. So we're talking to a lot of the same people about different things. Maybe you can enlighten us as to what people are really curious about or concerned about from your perspective.
Well, the first few days when this happened, oh, the dates are going to slip my mind, but let's say 10 days ago, it really was focused on crisis communication. We need to make announcements that we're still available, all the standard types of marketing communications that we're doing. But by Monday of Tuesday last week, people started to clue in that this is a big shift. And some businesses have been forced to do layoffs. If you had a brick and mortar front office, especially in things like dental practices, things like that, or even people serving the restaurant industry, those businesses started to contract by Wednesday, Thursday. And it became this very clear new world order that we need to pivot quickly. If we don't want to face those same layoffs, there's going to be one group of people that are going to hunker down and try to wait it out. And I just came out boldly last week and said, you can't do this. You've got to get ahead of this. You got to pivot. You got to find new opportunities, new sources of revenue. You've got to figure out where you can be really helpful right now. Because if this thing's going on to June or September, then you've got to have cash flow and you can't wait that thing out.
Yeah, I especially 100% agree. I mean, our industry, we're not going to see the same Father's Day, Mother's Day experiences with digital marketing. Black Friday, if that even happens, it's going to be totally different. And, you talk about pivoting. We've seen it already. We have clients that went from B2B only. Now they're opening up to B2C. I have a friend who owns a gym that obviously he can't have any revenue from in-gym services. So he's basically leasing out or renting his equipment to members and doing all their classes on Zoom. He's created a points chart, a reward system for people that are participating. Maybe you have some more examples that might, you could share ideas of how people can think about ways to pivot right now.
I think those are some of the extreme ones that are coming out because of major shifts. But the other side of it is some of the more subtle ones where you still have opportunity and where you could be really helpful. One of my favorite examples right now is a manufacturing firm called Healthcraft Products, and they make safety bars, safety poles, fall prevention devices that you would use in the home or in an old folks home, those types of things. But what they're seeing is the luxury items of the market are not moving very well, but they are really driven by purpose right now. What John O'Brien told me at the start of this is that in a crisis, mortality rates go up by 2 to 5 times inside of a hospital. Mistakes are happening, super busy. But and the number one reason why a senior would be put into the hospital at a time like this would be a fall in their home. And so they are pivoting very quickly to say they see it as their duty very much to how do they help prevent falls in the home. But with some of their channels starting to not be available, especially the retail options, they're pivoting options to e-commerce, developing direct-to-consumer routes, and really asking those hard questions of, okay, we had this block of revenue coming from these sources. We still need to get here. What are our options or veins in order to serve this market and continue to make whatever our revenue net is that we need to produce every month?
Yeah, and leaning into things that are working too, finding something that, has been successful and trying to scale it. We talked briefly about Domino's hiring another 10,000 drivers. That was a really good move to increase their revenue. It's funny if as a digital marketer, there's just some brands that are doing really well right now because people are buying their type of product and others that just really aren't. And I'm interested to see from your perspective in general, are there things that brands should be evaluating right now in terms of their structure or operations, moving forward? Like, when is the right time to reevaluate their whole system? 2008 and 11, there was a lot of layoffs. A lot of companies tried to make more money with way less people. Maybe we're headed in that direction. Maybe not. I don't know exactly. I'm not going to speculate that heavily, but if a big shakeup is coming, aside from pivoting, are there things that, from the brand perspective, that they should be thinking about communication wise with their prospects and customers?
Well, the one thing that's totally unique about this situation compared to previous recessions, whether it was the 2008, 2009, or what happened in the early 2000s, and even go before that, is this is a total shared experience. Every person, every company from around the world is going through the exact same thing. And how you evaluate your strategy is going to really depend on a few factors. For example, if you're in the travel business, you're grounded right now. So in certain cases, there are going to be certain sectors and industries that really don't have a lot of options. And so in some of those cases, if they were in a good financial position, they can take the next 6 months to work on the business, do the things that they couldn't do before because they were just too busy working with clients. For the rest of us, though, I think it really comes down to looking at this moment in time to say, look at it as an opportunity. We are going to a virtual world. We were already going there. Let's just accelerate it. We're all going through a shared experience, and you can also change your value proposition right now. So you can call up a customer, you can market someone, and you're not going to get that previous brand issue where, oh, you don't do that. I don't know you for that. You can say, look, due to the pandemic, we see an opportunity to be truly helpful and generous right now. And I think that's really the key message around a lot of brands and marketing is if you've got an opportunity like the gym owner, you're renting out equipment to people to use it in their home. That's an opportunity to be helpful. Maybe a business will come out of that. I don't know. But if there's an opportunity for you to step up and help someone that is in need, whether that's in their business, in their life, make money, save money, create comfort right now. These are the opportunities as entrepreneurs that we can go after because there's probably a lot of opportunities that are just available for you because the needs just shot right up.
And you're listening to your own suggestion there too, right? You guys just created a new offer that's a little bit different than what you typically offer, correct?
Yeah. So
due to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Due to the overwhelming response or engagement we had in the first week of this, we're eating our own dog food and following the same prescription. And this comes back from my history of running businesses through the previous recessions. You got to be able to be agile and move to the need very quickly. So we have just launched a program called Crisis Marketing, which is helping business owners navigate this crisis by identifying new markets, new revenue, and shoring up their cash. And so it's really providing a system and a methodology using marketing sprints to identify, validate, and develop new markets.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd be a great person to help at this time right now, especially, I mean, I read your book, obviously. If you haven't read Sticky Branding, go read Sticky Branding. But you talk about the difficulties of taking a company that was doing really well and trying to change it and going through a really rough time. I believe you refer to it as purgatory. Naturally, it's a little bit different maybe than a recession, but coming out of something that's difficult, certainly you would have great experience there and be a valued resource. I would encourage anybody out there who's looking for some guidance and helpful perspective to reach out to Jeremy. I'll link you out in the post on LinkedIn, but is there anywhere else people can find you? You want to send them?
Stickybranding.com is probably the fastest way to find me.
There you go. All right. Thanks for your insights, Jeremy. And anything else you want to share before we jet?
No, I just love and appreciate everything that you're doing. You're a great voice supporting all of this community. So thank you, Bobby.
Good deal. All right, my man. We'll talk soon.